Hey there, mudroomers, it is Carmen here today, and we are going to do a project featuring stroking coats, flux, and stoneware glazes. To begin, we're going to start with our stroking coat color, Teal Next Time. You're going to want to trade the cap for one of our detailer caps here. The detailer cap fits great on all three sizes of our stroking coat bottles. So we have our pints, 8 ounces, and 2 ounces all fit this detailer cap really, really well. So you'll trade your cap out, kind of get the glaze running here, and then you'll just start working your way around the edge. So I'm gonna do 2 rows of these W's, and I don't wanna apply it super heavy. I think I'm gonna go over this a second time just to make sure I get all the mobility that I want. And this doesn't have to be done super precise, as you can tell. The glaze is gonna flow down the piece, so having a super amazing pattern isn't necessarily going to remain. So here we have our first coat of that, and then additionally we're going to add some flux. So here I've got some flux, and the flux I've put in one of our detailer bottles to help with the application. So this will help me get a decent amount of flux onto my piece. And this will go ahead and do 2 coats as well, just like we're doing with the stroking coat. So I don't want to put my dots on too heavy because then they're gonna run down my piece. So that's why I'm just gonna go ahead and do 2 coats instead of 1 really heavy coat. If you were doing this on something a little more flat, maybe 1 heavy coat would work, although the glaze is not going to end up moving as much with a flatter piece. So now that we have the stroking coat and flux applied to the wear with 1 coat, I'm going to go ahead and let that dry and come back for the second coat. Once your first coat of trailing has dried, you can go ahead and apply your second coat. Again, this doesn't have to be super precise. I'm just looking to not have the design drip down my bowl, and otherwise just kind of be in a relatively consecutive pattern. All right, I've got my second coat of our Teal Next Time stroking coat applied to the bowl. And following that, we'll do our second coat of our light flux on the dots. Once the light flux has been applied, we're going to go ahead and let this dry. And then we'll go ahead and apply our stoneware glaze. All right, so once our second coat of trailing has dried, we can go ahead and apply our stoneware glazes over top. So first we're gonna apply 2 coats of green opal onto the bowl. For demo purposes, we're just going to apply it to the inside, but if you do like this combination, you can certainly apply it to the inside and the outside of the bowl. So I'm going to use our number 4 fan to apply the glaze onto the piece. If you tend to be a light glazer, I would definitely recommend using our number 8 fan. It's just a little bit bigger, it plumps up a little bit fatter. And for projects like these, it's really important to make sure you get the glaze on nice and heavy. So perhaps if you tend to be a light glazer, maybe add 3 coats of each color, or you can go ahead and substitute the larger fan brush for a thicker application. So I'll apply one coat over the whole thing, making sure to work those puddles out of the trailing. Since the trailing is nice and raised, you are going to end up with a lot of glaze pooling in that area. And we want to try to make sure the application is nice and even over the whole surface. So you do want the application to be thick, but you also want it to be pretty even. So I'm gonna spread this out all the way, get it worked out of these holes, and then go over the lip here. I'm not going to do the combination on the outside, but putting the glaze over the lip provides an opportunity for the combo to kind of run down the exterior of the bowl. So there is one coat of green opal on the inside of the bowl. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry and then come back and do coat number 2. Once your first coat of glaze has dried, you can go ahead and apply your second coat of green opal. Again, make sure to really load that brush up to enhance the mobility of this project. So we have 2 coats of green opal applied to the inside of our piece. We're gonna let this dry and then apply our combo color. Once your green opal has dried, for the second coat, you can go ahead and apply the combo glaze, which we are gonna apply our stoneware glaze oyster on top. We'll go ahead and apply 2 coats of this onto the piece to create this lovely combination. Again, loading your fan brush nice and heavily and applying it all over the surface. On this piece here, we're gonna apply 2 coats for the combination on the inside, and we're just gonna apply 3 coats of oyster by itself on the outside. Once I have the glaze over the entire surface, I like to work it out of this texture, and then I'll usually do a little swirl to give it a nice consistent pattern. Although it's most likely that all of this is going to run into the middle, so that little swirl in the middle won't really be seen. I'm gonna go ahead and let this sit and dry and come back and do the second coat. Once you've applied your first coat and it's nice and dry, you can go ahead and apply your second coat of oyster onto the inside of your bowl. So once that has been applied to the entire inside of the bowl, you've got it spread out really well so it's not built up a lot in the texture. Then go ahead and smooth that out. So we're gonna go ahead and let this dry, and on the outside we're gonna apply 3 coats of oyster to the outside of the bowl here. So that'll be the very last thing. And then you can go ahead and fire in an electric kiln to cone 6. And then you'll have something like this. We've got this lovely combination on the inside with the flux running down, and on the outside here you can see how the combination ran over the edge, and then here we've just got the oyster by itself on the back. So here we've got the back and the front.